July 26th Village Board meeting. At this time, I'd like to ask everybody to please stand for the pledge, and then remain standing for a moment of silence for armed forces serving throughout the world. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Who's out in the lobby? That's really rude.
Again, I'd like to welcome everybody to our meeting tonight. First up, we do have a public hearing on introductory local law number 5. It's a zone change for senior housing. Desiree, could you please read the notice?
A public hearing on introductory local law number 5, which would change the zoning designation of specific properties located along New York State Route 32 from limited commercial LC and residential 2-acre R2A to senior housing SH, and to amend the zoning map to reflect these changes. The property to be changed is known on the Woodbury tax map as Section 218, Block 2, Lots 7, 9, 10, 11, and 13. The public notice was printed in the Times-Herald Record on July 11, 2018.
Thank you. Okay, before we begin tonight, the last time we met or discussed this briefly, a couple issues were risen about the Hollitt pump station and the traffic. So tonight we do have people here from the village. Usually they are working with the planning board, but I asked them to attend to address some of these issues that we may have this evening. So with that, I'm going to ask Dennis, would you like to give us a little background on the Hollitt Pump Station?
Sure. The Hollitt Pump Station was built back, I guess, in 1983, right around there, 82. So it's been around for a while. In 2006, it's located in Hollitt. It's down on the northern section of the village, and it receives flow from Timber Ridge, from Ridge Road, from a number of areas. It had some overflows in the late 1990s and the 2000s. And in 2006, there was an order on consent that was issued by the DEC. In response to that order on consent, we worked to deal with the Orange County Sewer District to make use of an outfall sewer that they were not using that came from the sewage treatment plant, OCSD number 1 in Harriman, and was to discharge at Woodbury Creek, but that never came to pass because of the quality of Woodbury Creek and the classification of Woodbury Creek and what they would have to do to treat. So that line was available. We made arrangements to use that. So we paralleled the force main that you have from Hollitt that goes to Pine Hill, then goes to Smith Clove, and we paralleled that by using the 12-inch main. You originally had an 8-inch main out of Hollitt. We paralleled that with the 12-inch main and used that. We also, in response to the DEC notice and the order on consent, initiated a very aggressive II program throughout the village. Based upon the additional pipeline that was paralleling this one and now have the ability to go into a 12-inch main rather than 8-inch main, the capacity of the station was increased a little bit with the existing pumps. It went up about 20%, went up to a capacity of approximately 780 GPM, which is about 1.1 million gallons per day, and that's what you can get out of your Hollitt pump station. When Brigadoon was converted from a treatment plant to a pump station, that flow was to come into the Hollitt pump station. At that time, our firm did a report on your behalf for the DEC, which calculated what we believe was the flow that was going to that location. The average daily flow going in was about 319,000 gallons per day, as compared to the 1.1 million gallon capacity. However, under wet weather flows, there needs to be an allowance for that, and also you have to design not for average day, but for peak hour flows. And when we applied that ratio to that average flow, we estimated that the station was receiving about 1,086,000 gallons per day, or 754 GPM. It was slightly less than the capacity of the station, but not much less. And that's in a peak hour wet weather flow. So that's looking at Woodbury Common, if you will, when the traffic is at its peak at Christmas time.
Right.
So that's what we were looking at there. I think that was a fairly good estimate because Mickey tells me, I think there was, since he's been superintendent, one overflow at the station. So you can get exceptional events, or maybe that was an event that just reached that.
Well,
So-
just to interject there, I know this week we were right on the cutting edge, so. Last night also. So we're already there. I mean, we talk about the 100-year flood, the 500-year flood, but, they're coming more often. So we're on a cutting edge. We could overflow at that plant without adding anything right now, depending on the kind of storm we get.
That's correct. And what happens is, I think it bears out the calculations we did. We have a capacity of 780, and we calculated 754 GPM going to the station with an allowance for II. Certainly, rainfalls vary, so it could be a little bit higher, and you could have an event. As far as the infiltration inflow program that you initiated, you have had an aggressive program. It has been successful. Back in 2011, your average flow to Orange County Sewer District Number 1 was about 998,000 gallons per day. That's on an average day. In 2016, that was down to 735,000 gallons per day. And there were reductions all along the path between 2011 and 2016. Now, they did vary somewhat because of rainfall, but you have had a program that's been active and has been successful. In terms of the tributary area to Hollitt, we calculated about 55,000 feet of collection system, gravity collection system, of which about 47,000 feet has been inspected, and there's about 8,000 lineal feet remaining to be inspected and to be corrected. Of the portions that you have inspected, you did some work last year, and you identified a number of areas where you observed either infiltration, root intrusion, or a cracked pipe. Those need to be addressed. I don't think they've been addressed yet, so we have a list of some items that are to be addressed on municipal sewers that are owned by the village. And we also have a list of some work that needs to be repaired on sewers that are in private ownership. And in addition to that, there are a number of private sewers up there which have not, I'd say the bulk of what has not yet been inspected are private sewers that are tributary. It's mostly the Timber Ridge area that are tributary to the Hollitt Pump Station.
That's part of the 8,000?
That's part of the 8,000, probably the lion's share of the 8,000. And so that's
it?
a background
that's a
unless you
wrap?
have any questions.
Okay. Thank you. The other issue we had that was traffic, and I'm sorry, I forgot your name. John? John, do you want to give us a little synopsis on the traffic situation, a study that you did?
We reviewed the traffic, the traffic report was prepared by Creighton Manning for the site. We reviewed it, and we asked additional questions. Those questions resulted in basically a quick summary. If we relocated the entrance to a point opposite Timber Ridge, the volume of traffic at that particular location shows very heavy turning movements into Timber, and there would be associated turning movements coming out of this particular project. The operating speed along that section of roadway is 45 miles an hour. Now, that doesn't mean somebody is not going at 50, 55, 60, but conversely, you have some people going at 40. But the 85th percentile speed that the New York State DOT and most traffic engineers talk about is 45 miles per hour. The original access locations were not directly opposite. We suggested that they be opposite to have two aligned driveways. The issue here is not level of service, it's the direction of flow and the volume of traffic. We asked the applicant to evaluate what is called a left turn warrant for traffic coming south on 32, turning left into their development. As everyone knows, most of the traffic coming out of this project would be making a left turn and a right turn in, as opposed to the left turn movement coming in. It didn't meet warrants. However, if I look at Timber Ridge and the volume of traffic going in there during the evening rush hour, there's roughly 600 cars trying to go north on 32 and over 120 cars trying to turn left into Timber Ridge. So we have a left turn problem. There is a need for a left turn lane in the northbound direction. That basically is the conclusion. The fact is that with the need of a left turn lane in northbound direction, it does result in some erratic maneuvers for people that get stuck in back of a vehicle making a left turn. They kind of tend to turn out, and that may have certain operational problems with respect to the driveway. So we recommended that as part of the application to the New York State DOT, which has ultimate jurisdiction on it, that they review the warrants of that particular location, in addition to advance warning signs, as well as clearing some brush and vegetation along the site frontage in order to ensure that there is adequate line of sight for the operating speed of 45 miles per hour. All of these are standards based upon AASHTO, and the ultimate call is DOT. But the critical issue here is the left turn.
Would you recommend any kind of left turn lane coming southbound?
The left turn lane coming southbound, I mean, basically 90% of the traffic coming out of this development, whatever the development is, would be making a left turn. Only 10% is making a right. So conversely, only 10% is making. So based upon the anticipated volumes, you have less than 10 vehicles trying to turn left, heading southbound into the project during the worst hour.
Yeah, but if
But if you built the left turn lane heading northbound, you would automatically have the left turn lane heading southbound.
okay.
So it's what causes the problem here is the northbound traffic.
Right, but if you're coming southbound, and only from my own driving experience, you're coming southbound and you want to make a left into this development, and it's during rush hour, evening rush hour, you may be sitting there for a while trying to make that
You
left.
would, and
Yeah.
part of the problem is the people making a left turn out, also because of the way the traffic splits, would have difficulty to determine the maneuver for vehicles heading north. That's the number of issues. So the issue is the left turn lane and the geometrics of the intersection.
Okay, thank you. Just for the audience and TV audience, I just want to make a note here that a lot of the issues we're discussing here right now are usually planning board issues, and that's why if you're a regular watcher, you may think you're watching the planning board because of the consultants there. The reason why we're doing this is because the village board is looking at making a change to the zoning for senior housing, and we would like to know a little bit about the background of the planning issues before, we really consider this change. So that's why we're going to the trouble of having, the consultants, usual consultants from the planning board here to speak to us and to enlighten us on some of the issues that the planning board would be dealing with. Anybody else over there have anything they'd like to add to this at this time? No volunteers. Okay, this is actually for the public. So I see the applicant has some people here. I really don't want to get into a lot of issues because most of these issues are planning board issues, and that's where they should really be dealt with if it progresses that far. But I will give you an opportunity to say something, but this is really for the public. If you want to say something, you got to come up to the mic. You have to come up to the mic.
Perhaps what would be easiest if we defer to the public, get any comments, and then if we can make some helpful contribution to the dialogue, we will do so. If not, what I think would make sense is that we perhaps get permission from you to discuss, have the traffic and the engineering folks discuss what can be done and come back to you next month.
Okay.
So,
Okay, anybody in the first row? Anybody in the second row? Anybody in the third row? Anybody at all? Okay, we usually get in trouble for this because our public hearings go so quick, remember? All right, last chance. Anybody at all like to speak on this subject? And this is the introductory local law number 5, zone change, senior housing. Yeah, you like that. Trying to get some more seconds added to it. Okay, since there was nobody else looking to speak, I'm going to ask for a motion to close the public hearing, but I'm also going to allow for written comments until close of business on August 3rd, 2018.
I'm sorry, Mayor Queen, and before you make that motion, we should note for the record that we did receive written comments from a resident, Robin Kraus.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I do have a motion on the table. I mean, I don't have a motion yet, but I'm looking for a motion to close the public hearing and allow for written comments until August 3rd, 2018.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I want to note for the record that the escrow account for the application is currently insufficient, so no further action will be taken by the board at this time until it's replenished. Okay?
That includes consultant work, because we have bills we can't pay because you don't have enough money in your account. We sent you a letter. Did you get it? The letter went out last week.
Okay, the other thing I want to discuss with the board, too, at this point, is that their attorney asked for permission to talk to the consultants to see if there's anything that could be done for issues as far as, I guess, the traffic or the Howlett pump station. I don't know if anybody has any problem with that.
I don't have any.
No, I think that would be helpful.
Once the escrow is replenished.
Exactly, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that either. Bud, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, as the clerk pointed out, once the escrow is replenished, you can engage in conversations to see if there is anything that can be done to mitigate these potential problems. We will be accepting written comment to August 3rd, 2018, and that would be close of business day. So at that point, we will decide how we're going to move forward on this applicant. Okay?
Well, wouldn't it be at our next meeting after that we would decide?
It depends what's in the written, yeah, and it depends what conversations have taken place with the consultants. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. You got bills you can't pay?
Doesn't make sense. I can't get them, and you're welcome to.
Okay, I'll give a minute for the room to clear.
George, do you want me to email you that letter?
Me pen, your pen.
It went to the address for the Highland Mills Partners. It went to the address on account. Yeah.
People-
Good night.
You gonna want this back?
No. Stealing my paper. Okay, next up, administrative business. Our consultants can, unless you want to stay, I don't have no problem with that, you know.
Get going, going good.
Do you want me to stay for the prefab building or no? 'Cause
Yeah, what the heck, we'll get to that fairly quick.
Just put it on their account.
Yeah, what guy?
Okay, motion to accept the minutes of our meeting held on July 12th, 2018.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Des, could you please read abstract number 4?
Abstract number 4 contains vouchers 180300 through 180380, and it totals $228,310.89.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion to approve abstract number 4.
I'll make, Buddy will make that motion. I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Fire Department membership. Desiree, could you please read the name of the personnel whose status is being changed from active to inactive?
Christopher Jones.
Okay, motion to approve the Fire Department status change from active to inactive of the name read by Clerk Podvin.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, motion to approve fire department equipment request 2018-21 totaling approximately $3,703 for a Toshiba printer, copier scanner, including maintenance.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve fire department equipment request 2018-22 totaling approximately $6,464.80 for 3 fire hooks and 20 face shields.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
See, Dennis, you didn't have to wait long. Old business. We went out for bid for a prefab building for the Water and Sewer Department. Desiree, could you please read the bids?
The bid opening was held on July 17th, 2018, for the construction of a prefabricated metal storage building for the Water Sewer Department. The public notice was printed in the Times Herald Record on June 22nd, 2018, and the following bids were received. For Contract 1, Cyperco Industries from Neptune, New Jersey, in the amount of $568,250. Barone Construction Group from Highland, New York, in the amount of $597,425. And Verdi Construction Group from Bethel, Connecticut, in an amount which contained mathematical errors, so the corrected amount is $158.50. Contract number 2 is the HVAC work. We received only one bid from MDS HVAC R from Walden, New York, in the amount of $108,000. And contract number 3, electrical work, we received one bid from Harry Rotolo and Son from Middletown, New York, in the amount of $45,989. Do you want me to read what I normally read? Do you want Dennis?
Go, no, go ahead. Well, go ahead.
Normally Dennis isn't here, so I normally summarize his memo. Would you like me to do so, or would you like to speak?
You go right ahead. I'm here for questions.
Correspondence has been received from engineer Lindsay stating that he believes competitive proposals for contract 1 and 3 have been received and that both entities have the capabilities to perform the work. Regarding contract number 2, he also believes that the bid received does not reflect a competitive cost for the scope of work, which he estimated to be between $20,000 and $30,000, and recommends rejecting that bid.
Thank you. And we're very lucky tonight because Engineer Lindsay is here live, so before I ask for any motions, does any of the board members have any questions they would like to propose to our esteemed engineer?
About this
Or anything, you could ask him anything you want.
Any engineering questions?
Any
This could take a
engineering.
while.
I'd stick to the engineering field if you,
No, after reading your memo, I'm
we're good.
happy.
Everybody good?
I'm
Well,
good.
I don't know if I'm happy.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to ask for a motion to accept the bids received for the prefabricated metal storage building for the Water and Sewer Department as follows. Contract 1, CG Serpico Industries for $568,250. And contract number 3, Electric Harry Rotillo and Son for $45,989.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Now I'd like a motion to reject the bid received for contract number 2, HVAC, from MDS HVAC-R, as it does not reflect a competitive cost for the scope of work.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
You can. Dennis, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dennis.
Right, I'll do it.
Good night, Dennis. Thank you.
Okay, we do have an extra item tonight we have to deal with due to time constraints. It's about FB&G Harriman Business Park annexation petition. Desiree, you want to read the
Spiel.
spiel?
A petition was filed in the village on July 2nd, 2018, entitled Petition for the Annexation of Territory from the Town of Monroe to the Village of Woodbury, Orange County, New York. The petition is requesting the following parcels of land to be annexed into the Village of Woodbury from the Town of Monroe. Monroe Tax Map, Section 2, Block 1, Lots 13.1, 30, 31.1, 31.2, 31.31, 31.4, 32, 34.2, 38, and 39. There are no residents in the territory proposed to be annexed. There is assertion to be I don't know, the attorney wrote this, but it's not spelled, it's not phonetic.
No, you know how they write.
There are asserted to be existing buildings, structures, and other improvements within the territory, all as permitted by various approvals granted by the Monroe Planning Board. According to the petition and accompanying secra material, the proposed action is classified as an unlisted action under secra since the territory is less than 100 contiguous acres and no development is proposed as part of the petition. You want to do your part?
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
you're welcome.
I've had numerous conversations with our legal counsel for the village, as well as with the Town of Monroe Supervisor Anthony Cardone. Based on these conversations, it is proposed that the Monroe Town Board will declare itself as lead agency for this application, and a joint public hearing will be held on September 10, 2018, at the Monroe Senior Center at 7 p.m. Since the September 13 Village Board meeting is the same date as the New York State primary election this year, this September 10th meeting will replace the village's normally scheduled meeting. So I'm going to ask for a motion to affirm that the Village of Woodbury Board of Trustees have no objection to the Town of Monroe Board declaring itself as lead agency for the petition for annexation received from Richard Burdoff on behalf of FBG Shop Center and its affiliates, Harriman Business Park.
There's a little bit more adding here for that.
Okay.
After you have reviewed the EAF as submitted, and that the Village of Woodbury Board of Trustees has relied upon the information contained in the EAF submitted with the petition and direct special counsel for the village to file all lawfully required secret and other notifications consistent with this motion.
And that.
I'll make that motion.
Any discussion, any questions? This happened very quickly today, so.
This afternoon?
Yes.
As did I.
Just to explain what was quickly, so that you understand, because obviously the petition came in July 6th. There was, I've been in touch with the Monroe Town Clerk to coordinate the scheduling of the joint hearing, and she had yet to receive the petition. So we couldn't coordinate anything until she actually received it. After some investigating, it turned out that it was received but was not given to her as is proper. So she technically only stamped received it on Tuesday, which prompted Monroe to do their research and then get back to me only this morning, late morning, early afternoon, with options for your meeting. Since September 3rd, like 13th, like we said, had to be canceled because of primary day, after I spoke with the mayor and Attorney Lynch on the issue, it was agreed September 10th worked well for everybody. That's why it was a last-minute thing, because we were waiting for Monroe.
Yeah, also, there was a lot of confusion going back and forth because of the legality of what date it was received, because they were taking a position, they only received it this week, and technically, they received it earlier in the month. So it was very confusing, so everything was last minute, so I'm sorry for any confusion that people are hearing tonight. So if there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now I'd like a motion. Okay, you want
Some changes.
more changes to this?
Again, last minute. The next motion is to authorize the notice of publication for said joint public hearing as required by law on the village board's joint participation with the town of Monroe in a joint public hearing with the town on Monroe Town Board to be held at 7 p.m. on September 10th, 2018 at the Monroe Senior Center located at 101 Mine Road, Monroe, to discuss and entertain public comment on the application for annexation received from Richard Burdoff on behalf of FBG Shop Center and its affiliates, also known as Harriman Business Park, and to take all other actions as required by law at this time. I'm sorry?
Excuse me.
I spoke to my husband.
Oh.
He was telling us Rosh Hashanah that night.
Yeah, well, any discussion on that?
Monroe picked the date.
Okay, all in favor?
You need a motion in
Aye.
a second.
I
Oh.
thought we
I'll
did.
make the motion.
No,
You didn't do a motion on that?
I can't ask
She's
for a
happy
motion
she
on
asked.
it. Okay. Trustee Mikolajczyk made the motion?
Yes.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
That date was picked by Monroe, by the way, in case anybody has concerns.
Okay, Public comment? Anybody in the second row? Anybody in the third row? Anybody at all? Okay, board member comment. Buddy, you have anything?
I have nothing to add tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Tom?
Just wanted to note the water department working on the new water tower. I want to, got some nice pictures of that, if anybody wants to see it going down. I don't remember hearing anything about any complaints or anything. It was loud. I have to say the neighbors were pretty cool about it, so we thank them for being patient. So, yeah, and I think that was smart that we sent out the flyers. And I saw some discussion in some groups that were walking dogs and whatnot, but it seemed to be pretty cool. And it really was only that one day was real loud. And then what made it worse was the artillery was happening on the other side of town, so they were ping-ponging back and forth. So, but, good job by everyone. So, that's all I have, Mike.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Tim?
Well, while we're on the subject of the water department, nice job on the response for the water main break in front of Central Valley Elementary over the weekend. There was two. Two, that's right, there were two. So good job, thank you.
Okay. Des?
Of course, Sunday is the Woodbury Chamber of Commerce Farmers Market on Valley Avenue from 10 to 5. Come on out. I believe there is a new vendor this week they said on the Facebook page, from 10 to 5?
No,
3? 10 to 3?
10 to 3.
Okay, well, 5 would be nice. 10 to 3. So come on out. I got some good truffle butter last week, which was pretty good. I want to congratulate the Woodbury Ambulance on winning first prize at the Town for Troops Iron Chef event that was held this weekend. First prize for appetizers. I hear the 4 of them won a grill for the ambulance corps, so congratulations to them for partaking and supporting that great cause. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing this evening, so with that, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you and good night.